Hello, everyone, and welcome to SCORE Fairfield County's live webinar, Win Customers with Your Website. I'm Tim Ryan, the webinar coordinator and a business mentor here at SCORE Fairfield County, and I'll be your host. This webinar is sponsored by Penelopes. Our presenter today is Jessica Baldwin. More on Jessica in just a minute. First, some brief info on SCORE. There's over 320 offices and 11,000 volunteers nationwide. We're part of the SBA. SCORE Fairfield County chapter has over 100 volunteers with a wide range of industry, process, and subject matter expertise. We offer 3 primary value-added services to small business owners. First, free one-on-one counseling. Second, educational workshops and webinars, over 100 per year. And third, extensive resources on our website, such as Word and Excel templates to assist you with building your business plan. SCORE puts on many webinars each month. Look for future events on our webinar calendar at fairfieldcountyscore.org. Some useful info about today's event. If you have a question, please use the chat window at any time during the presentation. It's located in the lower part of your screen. Our webinar will end at 1 p.m. to respect your time. The session is being recorded and the link to the recording will be available at fairfieldcounty.score.org within the next couple of days. Now our speaker, Jessica, is the co-founder of CardSetter, a new and easy to use website platform. Jessica has been helping small businesses launch successful websites for over 7 years. She also spent more than 10 years growing her own successful blog and entertainment website for Billings, Montana, billings365.com. Jessica has been on both sides of the website development as the client and then later as a development company, giving her a robust understanding of the entire process. Jessica, take it away.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jessica, and I want to welcome you to today's webinar. We're going to talk about how to win customers with your website. So here's what we'll be covering today. We're going to go through some common website misconceptions. Working through these is going to help you have a better mindset when it comes to your website and its performance. We'll discuss the important role your website plays in your online marketing strategy. We're going to provide you with a framework to help you develop your own winning strategy. We'll walk through a few relevant examples, and then we'll discuss how to set your website up to help execute your strategy. I'm your host today. I have a lot of experience in the website space. In 2009, I launched a small online business called billings365.com, a website for events and things to do in Billings, Montana. Later, I got involved in a website design agency where we did custom WordPress websites for small businesses. And I learned a lot about the needs of website owners, both from the perspective of being one and in serving others as their development agency. So in 2016, my co-founder Josh and I decided to build our own website platform, and that is CardSetter. So CardSetter is an easy to use website builder, and we differentiate ourselves by including done for you design and setup. So my whole world has really been websites and online marketing for at least the past 12 years. I also have Randy here with me today to help me out with questions. Randy, would you tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, hey everyone, I'm Randy. Thanks for jumping on to geek out about websites with us today. I am a small business owner as well, and when I was first launching my business in 2017, I first tried to build my website on my own. It turns out I don't have an eye for design. I gave up and hired an agency to build a WordPress website for me. And then later, as we grew and we're adding a second location, we switched over to a CardSetter website. So we like to share what we've learned along our own website journeys with you. I'm here to help with the Q&A. And so if you have questions as we go, please drop those in the Q&A box, not the chat box. It's easier in the Q&A box. And we'll stop every 10 or so slides and take a few questions along with more time at the end. I am going to drop a link to a workbook in the chat box for you. It's a Win Customers workbook. And then later on, we'll talk a little more about a website planning workbook as well that you can download from our website. Thanks for being here.
Okay, so a few common misconceptions. So I get all my customers through word of mouth, none from my website. So many business owners will hail the ever elusive word of mouth as the sole source for bringing in customers. But this misconception underestimates the actions that people are going to take before becoming your customer. So even if people hear about your business from a friend or acquaintance, they're likely to visit your website to get more information before contacting you or coming into your business. So it's still important to make a good impression with a professional website. My website isn't at the top of Google search results, and that's why I don't have more sales. So ranking at the top of Google is great. It's definitely a goal worth striving for the right keywords, but it's not the answer to all of your problems. SEO is one channel out of many options to bring traffic to your website, but it can't be responsible for what happens after that. Once you get people to your website through SEO or other marketing channels, your website has to engage them to stick around, educate them about what you do, and convert them to leads or sales. Now, even if you start ranking at the top of relevant search results, your website is unlikely to convert someone in a single visit. At that point, your visitor is just becoming aware of your business. So you need to get your brand in front of your audience again and again, which is why you can't just rely on one marketing channel like SEO. I have a Facebook page, Instagram account, TikTok. I don't need a website. So it's true that growing a following on social media can be a great way to get in front of your audience on a regular basis, but you still need a website. A website is where you have control over how your brand is presented. You need it for any online advertising that you want to do. It helps facilitate online sales and lead generation. And it ensures that you look professional. So it's a place on the internet that you control rather than the social media algorithms. You know, on social, you're kind of at the mercy of Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, Pinterest, or LinkedIn's priorities. So if they change their algorithm in just a second, your marketing channel no longer is reaching your audience. So it's important to build traffic to your website and get email addresses or phone numbers into your database. My website is simply ineffective. It doesn't bring any customers. So this may or may not be true. Your website design, layout, or copy might be ineffective for a variety of reasons, but the problem could also be that you're not getting enough traffic to your website, or your marketing activities aren't producing enough frequency and repetition among your audience to move them to act. So how often do you see a single ad for a product or service and decide to buy it right away? Not very often, I would imagine. Your website visitors are the same way. They're unlikely to visit your website once and act immediately. So you have to find a way to kind of bring them into your world and then be in front of them when they are ready to act. So we need to stop thinking of our website on its own as this single thing that does or doesn't work. Your website plays an integral role in your overall marketing mix, so it's not going to be effective in a vacuum. So now that we have gone through the common misconceptions, let's talk about your website's role in marketing your business. So your website plays a critically important role for a few of these reasons. Establishing your brand. So your website is your home on the internet. It's where you can express your brand voice and control the experience for your website visitors and customers. It's where you get to set the tone and say, this is who we are and how we can uniquely help you. Professionalism, your business looks more legitimate when you have a professional website. Professionalism goes a long way in building trust with your audience, so they're more likely to work with you. Compounding results, investing in the success of your website through ongoing improvements and adding new content has compounding lasting effects. Over time, you'll start to see more traffic build and grow. Adding value. Your website provides an opportunity where you can add value for your target audience. So it's where you can provide useful information and resources for them. It's really an essential tool for online marketing. So whether you're offering a product, service, or information, you need a place online for people to land, gather more information, and convert. So if you do any type of online advertising, you need a landing page for your ad, and you'll want to be able to add, tracking pixels to your website so you can do retargeting campaigns, so you can continue to market to your audience. You have to have a website for this. Getting found. Websites rank far better than a Facebook page or any other social media page for your keywords. So search, being seen in Google search results helps you reach people who are actively searching for your product or service. Whereas, with social media, your exposure is going to be a little bit more passive. Engagement. Your website is where people can spend time with your content. On social media, for example, the impression with them is a little bit more fleeting. They're scrolling through their feed, kind of going quickly by your post. On your website, they can dig in and discover more and deepen your engagement with them. Measurement. So you can evaluate how your marketing is performing by reviewing your website's analytics. Generating leads. As you continue marketing your business, you're going to want to grow a database of potential customers. You can do this by creating content that people, can enter their email address for, or by enabling inquiries through your website, and then facilitating sales and transactions. So we want to convert visitors and followers into customers. So if you want someone to buy a product or sign up for your service, you need a way to facilitate that transaction, and your website is the place to do this. So then how do you set your website up to help you succeed? There's a lot of advice out there on website design and layout. So you might hear advice, about making sure your content is laid out in a left to right reading pattern, in order of importance. You might hear about button placement or choosing the right colors. And while this type of design information and layout, these layout concepts are helpful in designing a professional website, and they can often improve the performance of your website, but these tips won't be a magical solution to winning customers if you don't have some other important marketing pieces in place. So winning customers with your website is not magic. I wish it were. I wish it was something as simple as, having the right headline and the right button placement. But in reality, it takes a lot of trial and error, and figuring out what works can take a long time. But once you do come up with a strategy that works, it can have amazing results. So before we dive in, did we have an early question, Randy?
Yeah, we have, which is the best hosting company / service for a WordPress website? I have HostGator shared server, but it's quite slow.
I am not sure. If you would email jessica@cardsetter.com, I can get a better answer for you. It's been some time since I've worked on WordPress websites, because I exclusively work on Cardsetter websites now, but I can get an answer for you about that. Okay, so diving into strategy, you have to come up with a winning strategy for your business. There's no one size fits all template for this. So we're going to provide you with a framework that's going to help with your strategy. And we have 2 important steps that you need to complete before getting to work on your website. You want to define your ideal customer and map out your customer's journey. So in every webinar that I present, I talk about defining your ideal customer, because I believe it is the most critical step to getting your website and your marketing right. So let's describe our ideal customer. Here, we're thinking about who the website is for and what are their needs. So I like to use this simple fill in the blank statement to get started with this exercise. It says, as a type of person, I want some goal so that some reason. So you would fill in those blanks from the perspective of your ideal customer. So just an example, here's how one health coach might think about their ideal customer. As a busy working parent, I find it challenging to find time for fitness, but I want to feel fit and healthy so that I have more energy to play with my kids after work. So from there, you can layer on additional information. How old is this person? What is their career or educational background? What are their interests? What type of media do they consume? And more. This is going to help you create your strategy in a way that will resonate with your potential customers. And as you can imagine, every health coach is not going to fill out that statement the same way. It's really from their perspective on who they think is their ideal customer or the target customer that they're going after. So then we're going to plan the customer journey. Your customer is going to go through different phases in their experience with your brand. This is an area that's often overlooked by business owners. We tend to think, maybe I'm going to place, maybe I'm going to start advertising. So I placed an ad on Facebook, but no one signed up. Well, again, as we discussed earlier, it's going to be really rare for someone to see one ad, hit your website, and buy something instantly. That's not to say that this never ever happens, but that definitely shouldn't be your expectation in your business. We really have to nurture the audience along and provide information and messaging that meets them at the stage they are at and in a medium that makes sense for the audience. So you want to think about it more as bringing, people into your audience and then staying with them for some period of time to move them closer to converting with your business as a customer. So these are the typical stages of the marketing funnel. At the awareness stage, you want to get your brand in front of your ideal audience. You want them to know that your business exists and that you can fill a need or solve a problem for them. At this stage, we're really just bringing people into the audience and making them aware of the brand. In the consideration stage, the prospect knows that they have the need or the problem. They're now aware of your brand, and they might be doing, additional research or trying to decide what's right for them. They might internally be trying to justify, spending the money on your product or service. They're deciding how or if they're going to move forward. In the conversion stage, the person is ready to act, and you want them to move forward with your brand. So this is where they take action to solve their problem. And then finally, I do like to add a stage for retention. So once they've become your customer, how can you continue to meet their needs? Will they be a source of referrals, reviews, etc.? We're not going to spend too much time on the retention piece because we're really focusing on your website and the stages up to conversion. But retention is something that you should think about when you think about your customer journey. So your outreach, your messaging, and the mediums that you use are going to be crafted to each stage of this journey. So you want to think, at each stage, what is the message that needs to be communicated to the prospect, and how will you deliver that message to them? So what type of content makes sense at the awareness stage? What information do they need in that consideration stage to help them understand your product or service? What's going to motivate them to take action and convert? So at the awareness stage, you might create relevant content to get the attention of your ideal customer. And maybe you're going to have a newsletter or a free resource that they can sign up for. Then maybe they get into an email sequence where you're getting your brand in front of them on a regular basis. and maybe you run some retargeting ads to get them back to your website. So you're nurturing your audience along in that consideration stage. Then after some time, you're going to hopefully have a number of people who've been in the consideration stage for some time, and they're ready to convert. So it's time to send them an email with a special offer or run an ad with the intent of getting them to sign up or purchase today. You want to stay engaged with your prospect through all of these stages. You should expect people to spend some time within each stage before moving to the next. Different prospects will move from one stage to the next at different speeds. And if you think about it, you as a consumer have probably experienced this yourselves. Maybe you have seen an ad for something online and it sort of interests you. You click on it, you spend a little bit of time on the website, but you don't purchase right away. Then you start to see ads maybe in your social media feeds, again, for that same product. The messaging is a little bit different because you're already aware of the brand. But you're still, you haven't quite made the decision to sign up. And then maybe you see another ad a little bit later, and all of a sudden it has a special discount or something like that. And that's just the little bit of convincing that you needed to go ahead and, buy those boots or whatever it was that you were looking at online. So you can notice in your own daily life how this type of marketing is happening, being used on you as well. So let's look at an example for this. Penelopes Plant Place is our make-believe business. It's a small nursery located in Colorado Springs, Colorado. So Penelope doesn't have a landscaping crew. She really caters to the do-it-yourselfer. So she sells plants and accessories from a physical location, but she also offers professional design services so that customers who want help making a landscaping plan can get it. She knows that offering these consulting services increase sales of plants. So Penelope's ideal customer is the avid do-it-yourselfer, and she knows that new homeowners often fall into this category. So maybe she would fill in her ideal customer statement like this. As a new homeowner on a budget, I want to add plants to my home so that it reflects my personal style and is a warm and inviting place to be, but I don't know much about plants or landscape design. Then she might craft a key benefit statement that goes something like, personalize your space, visit Penelope's Plant Place. Then she would have some support copy there. We're here to help you DIY your dream space, personalize the interior and exterior of your home with plants that will survive, thrive, and look great too. So she set up her website, to speak to that ideal customer that she's already defined. But now, what are some ways that Penelope can use her website to attract and nurture this ideal customer? So let's first think about the awareness stage. Penelope wants to make her ideal customer aware of her business. So if she thinks about what this person might be doing before they're going to take any action to spruce up their home, they're probably going to start doing some online research. So maybe they're looking for plants that are going to thrive in their area's climate. So Penelope is going to create a comprehensive guide on her website featuring articles about plants that thrive in Colorado Springs. And she's going to focus it on plants that she carries in her store. Now, if someone is reading this type of information on her website, then they're probably a good prospect to be in the market to buy some plants, but they might not be ready to buy right now. So Penelope wants to try to keep them in her audience in the meantime. So she's going to add what we call a lead capture to all of these articles. So she has created a do-it-yourself landscaping guide that includes different layouts and plant recommendations. So she's going to have a sign-up form for this guide where people can enter their email address and be sent the guide. So now that she has those email addresses in her database, She can send periodic newsletters to her prospects so that she can stay top of mind while they're in that consideration stage. She could also run retargeting ads on Facebook, Instagram, or Pinterest to stay engaged with that audience. So then those ads and newsletter issues are going to link back to more website content, and she's fostering this connection with her audience throughout that consideration stage. She could also start incorporating more sales-driven content at this point. Maybe she highlights some before and after customer stories with photos that showcase her work. She could highlight the benefits of getting some design help to ensure a smoother do-it-yourself project. So at this point, Penelope is now attracting people to her website with good quality content. She's keeping them engaged by continuing to offer quality information about plants and landscaping. Now, how does she get these people to convert to customers? Well, because now she's top of mind with this audience, she might get some natural conversions. People just come into her store or sign up for her design services because they're ready to move. But more than likely, she's going to need to incentivize first-time customers to act. So Penelope comes up with an offer that she's going to present to her warmest audience members, or those who've clicked and who've opened and clicked the most emails. So Penelope decides to offer free 30-minute consultations plus a 20% off coupon for those who book one of those consultations. She knows that when her customers get a little design help, they're happier with the end result and they're better prepared to care for their plants. She also knows they'll buy more plants when given the confidence they need to succeed in the process. So customers can simply book their free consultation right on her website. So now Penelope is actively utilizing her website to nurture her audience through all the stages of the customer journey. So she's attracting them with quality content. She's keeping them engaged by retargeting them through email and online ads to bring them back to her website as she nurtures them along. And she's providing incentive to empower them to act and convert. So as you can imagine, Penelope's specific tactics probably aren't going to work for you because your ideal customer and your audience and your business are different than hers. So let's look at a different example. Let's think about a business that relies more on direct sales. So this is Tim, and he offers consulting services to universities and large organizations to make their campuses more energy efficient. So he saves them money while also reducing their climate impact. So he has a really specific decision maker that he needs to reach. It's more efficient for him to find out who the decision maker is and reach out by email or phone to make them aware of his business. It's going to be a better strategy for his particular business than, trying to attract people through online marketing and things like that. But Tim should still have a quality website that supports this strategy. So he's going to start with good content on his website. But in this scenario, it's less likely that his prospects are finding him online through search or social media, and more likely that they're visiting his website after he reaches out to them. So he'd want to focus on presenting a professional website, maybe having a calculator or white paper explaining how much money universities could save with his help, or how much of an impact they could have on their carbon footprint. His strategy is going to look more like him reaching out via email at the awareness stage, maybe trying to get those prospects to take a first look at his website to get more information, or maybe he's presenting a lot of information in his initial email. Then at the consideration stage, he's following up with them, providing a link to his white paper or calculator, bringing them back to his website to get that information. And he's continuing to engage with them by following up through email, but he's using his website to support that strategy. And then to get people to convert, he wants them to book a phone call or an online meeting. So he's going to have a book a consultation option on his website. So, you know, his strategy might actually rely on someone responding to his email saying they'd like to meet, and then he's going to send them the link to book a time that works for them on his website. So his strategy is really email focused. It's all based on direct sales and direct outreach and relationship building, but his website is helping support the strategy by giving him a professional appearance, housing important content that he's pointing his prospects to, and then enabling the conversion event of a booked meeting. So to develop your own strategy, you need to go back to thinking about your ideal customer and what are their needs. Then how do you attract them to your business at the beginning of their journey, at that awareness stage? How can you engage them while they're in that consideration stage? How can you motivate them to act at the conversion stage? Once they are your customer, how can you retain them or keep them coming back to your business? So you want to ask yourself these questions and then decide what messages you're going to deliver at each stage and how you're going to deliver it to your prospects. And again, there's no one size fits all strategy here, which is why I can't tell you exactly what to do at each stage. I can only provide you with this framework to help you come up with your specifics. Okay, Randy, did we have any questions?
We don't have any questions yet.
Okay. Okay. So once you've answered those questions for your business, you need to configure your website to do its part. So you're going to need some essential tools to help you carry out your strategy. First of all, your website has to be set up to meet the needs of your ideal customer at every stage. So we're going to get into some of the tools that you'll need to carry out your strategy. But first, we need a good base, right? Your website has to adequately communicate what your business offers and why it matters to your ideal customer. So again, if you think about your ideal customer and the journey that they're going to take to becoming your customer, how can your website then meet their needs? So you're going to need a quality homepage that is compelling to your ideal customer. So you want to focus on capturing your prospects' attention when they hit your homepage. So in the top section, I like to focus on your key benefit statement. Why is your business the best choice for your ideal customer? Include a little bit of support copy for your key benefit statement, and then feature your primary call to action. Now, people probably won't instantly convert at this point, but we want to get them interested enough to continue scrolling or to go a bit deeper into the website. And then the call to action is very useful for people when they come back to your website when they've decided to take action. So although they might not convert immediately when they first hit your homepage, it's important to tell them what to do when they have decided to take action. So then what else does your prospect need to consume in their journey to becoming your customer? This is going to be specific to your business. So, it could be any number of these things listed on the screen, or maybe others that I haven't thought of that aren't listed here. They might need to see an overview of your services or programs. They might need to better understand how your service works. They might need to consume some case studies on how you've helped others in their industry. They might want to see your pricing. Or if you're, e-commerce based, they might need to see reviews of the product or understand better how the product works. So you want to consider what pieces of information are going to be essential in this process. Make sure that your website has a good base of content for your prospect as they travel through each stage of that customer journey. We do have another webinar that's called Plan Your Website for Online Success. And that's going to provide more details on the topic. You can watch that to dig in more on this. And then we also have this free website planner that you can download. So if you go to score.org and type in plan your website for online success in the search bar, you can find that other webinar. And it's possible that we would be scheduling that with Fairfield Score as well for another live webinar in the future. So keep an eye out for that. Okay, but going beyond those essentials, we're going to need some other tools on our website to help it do its part within the customer's journey. Oh, and to back up, Randy, would you drop that link in the chat if you haven't already?
Yep, I just dropped it in the chat. So that is the link to download the website planning workbook. We have had some people join us since I dropped the link for downloading the Win Customers workbook. So I will drop that one in there as well. So we have 2 different workbooks just to help you guys along your website journey here.
Okay, so other tools we're going to need to help our website do its part. So the first one, content management. So there are plenty of things that you can do to raise awareness of your business. That would include, social media marketing, advertising, sponsorships, and more. But when it comes to your website, one of the most powerful things that you can do for this stage is to have relevant content on your website. So content has a lot of different uses in your marketing strategy. And when I say content on your website, beyond, the explanation of your product or service and things like that, I mean having blog articles, resources, videos, maybe posting your podcast episodes or whatever content you have available on your website. So content helps with your SEO results, so search engine optimization, showing up in relevant Google searches. It gives visitors a reason to visit your website and return. It provides content that you can use to post on social media or include in your e-newsletter. So you're going to want to come up with some content for your website that's going to appeal to your ideal audience. And you'll need to set your website up to make the best use of that content. Now, you'll often see companies plop a blog page on their website, and more often than not, the last post was made years ago. We definitely don't want to do that. Part of the problem with this particular approach is that it sort of relies on a continuous flow of timely, relevant content. And most small businesses can't really keep up with that. So here's my approach to content. I like to come up with what I call content collections. So if you think about topics that your audience is going to be interested in, how could you create long-standing resources around those topics? So you want to make a collection of maybe 3 to 5 or more articles that go together and assemble them into a guide on your website. So in our earlier example, Penelope was going to have the ultimate guide to plants that thrive in Colorado Springs. All of those articles are going to live on the same page on her website. And this way, we're creating resources that are more compelling for the audience. So we're encouraging them to stay on the website longer because we have more than just a single article for them to land on. And this content is going to be relevant to the audience for years and years to come. So rather than writing a blog post every single week, I like to chip away at these in-depth guides, get all of the pieces of content done that I need for that guide, and then start on the next one. So these guides could be a compilation of articles, videos, blogs, infographics, whatever you need to provide that adds value for your audience. So we love this strategy at CardSetter so much that we've built our website editor in a way that makes it really efficient. So you can, modularly organize your content on your website and assemble these guides in just a few minutes. Other tools that your website is going to need to help you implement your strategy. Customizable forms. So whether you're offering a lead capture, you're registering people for a webinar, running a contest, offering a discount, you need a way to accept those submissions. So a form platform can be really helpful for this. So there's various form builders that you can use to create a variety of different forms for whatever, whatever promotion you're running. There's a lot of, some platforms will have form builders built into them, some website platforms, but there's also a lot of third-party options that can offer more features and flexibility for your website. A couple that I like that have decent free plans are called Cognito Forms or JotForm. And again, you would use those, to set up like, oh, I'm having a webinar, I need a registration form. You could set up a form for something like that. I'm running a contest, I want people to enter their email. You could set up a form on your website for that. In our earlier example, Penelope was going to have a landscaping guide with a form where people could enter their email and get sent the free resource. So you would use them for things like that as well. E-newsletters. So you're going to want to be able to follow up with people who have provided their emails to you. So you're going to need an e-newsletter software to do that. Now, some of those e-newsletter options also have form builders in them. So you might be able to use what they provide in the examples that we discussed in the customizable forms section. Just really depends on the specifics of what you need your form to do, but do keep that in mind as you're looking at the different tools you're going to use. Follow-up is really important during that consideration stage where you're trying to foster engagement. So you do want to have your e-newsletter software integrated with your website. But in addition to having a sign-up form on your website, don't forget then to have an email strategy built out. So you have, email follow-up planned out once people enter their email address to you. Chat. So you can communicate with your customers directly on your website as they have questions. So you can install chat right on your website. I'm sure some of you have been on websites that have that with the little bubble in the side where you can click on there and someone will respond to your questions in real time if the operator is there. A free option for this that I like is actually Facebook Messenger, because if you have Messenger on your phone, then as people message you from your website, whether you're sitting at your computer or not, you can respond to those right away. Landing pages. A landing page is simply a single promotional page that you may want to use to promote your lead capture resource, maybe use for promoting a webinar or any other number of promotional things. So as you roll out various marketing promotions, you need a place for people to land. So you want to be able to make landing pages on your website. Appointment scheduling. So appointment scheduling can be really useful for service-based businesses, consultants, and other professionals. You can let prospects book a consultation or demo during that consideration stage, or book an appointment for your service from your website. One popular option for this is a tool called Calendly. There are many alternatives, but that one is one of the most popular. E-commerce and payments. If you're going to be selling physical or digital products on your website, you need a way to facilitate those transactions. There are many different ways to accomplish this depending on your specific needs. You may need a shopping cart if people are going to add more than one item to the cart before checking out. But if you're accepting payments for a webinar or course or something like that, you can often use the tools you use for your customizable forms to take those types of payments. And then again, going hand in hand with that, if you're going to take payments of any kind, you need a payment processor. I'm a big fan of Stripe as a payment processor if you don't have one already, because it's really flexible. It works with lots of different tools, but there are many other options out there as well. That's just one good place to start. Analytics. Measuring your website activity is going to be really important. You need to know how your marketing efforts are paying off. So you want to install Google Analytics on your website, which is free. But this is going to help you see which pages and content are performing on your website. So you can see how many people are visiting your pricing page or other sales intent pages. You can see if they're visiting your website from mobile devices or desktop. You can see how many people are coming to your website from your Facebook page or other channels. So you can get a lot of good information to understand how things are going. And then pixels. So you want to be sure to install any necessary pixels on your website for ad networks or social channels that you plan to use. So if you plan to, in the future, do any type of advertising on Facebook, Instagram, Google, LinkedIn, Pinterest, whatever the case may be, they'll provide you with what's called a pixel, which is just a snippet of code that gets installed on your website. And then that feeds information back to your ad account with one of those services. So this just helps track how your advertising is performing. It helps feed information back to the ad account, like so that you know who visited the website and if you want to retarget them. So if you wanted to retarget everyone who visited your website in the past 30 days, you could show ads to those people on those services. You have to have the pixel installed in order to do that. So if you already have a website, make sure that you're taking advantage of all these important features that hopefully your website has available. If you don't have a website yet and you're looking for a platform or provider, make sure that the one you're considering can do these things. And again, be sure to check your calendar for some of our other SCORE webinars that'll talk more about actually getting into the ins and outs of planning your website. Okay, so lots to cover today. To summarize, the way that you're going to win customers with your website is to define your ideal customer, really understand who you are trying to communicate with and what their needs are. You're going to map out the customer journey. So how can you attract your ideal customer to your website at the awareness stage? How can you engage with them and educate them about your products and services during the consideration stage? And then how can you compel them to convert at the conversion stage? Then you're going to set your website up to do its part. So you're going to set your website up to help you execute your strategy. So you're going to give it a good base with a compelling homepage. You're going to include relevant information that's going to help your prospects learn about how you can help them. You're going to create relevant content for your ideal customer, and you're going to utilize the features and tools that will help you accomplish your goals. Okay, so I know that's a lot to cover. I hope the information we've provided has helped you think about how your website can help you win over your customers. It definitely takes some critical thought and a lot of setup to get everything working together, but be sure to think of it as an iterative process. So you're going to take simple steps to make improvements over time. You won't get everything perfect right away, and that's okay. You're going to test out different strategies for each stage, monitor the results, and then see where you can make improvements.
Jessica, I did have a question. This is Tim.
Yeah.
I guess it's about execution more than anything else. Let's say you have a website, 100 people visited yesterday. I don't know if this gets into analytics or one of the tools you'd mentioned, but what are you going to do with that information? I presume you have their email address or you have their phone number if they did it on their phone, access to your via the phone. Do you have some kind of a tool or you automatically send them a welcome email, or I don't know how that works?
Yeah, so you would, so like in our example, Penelope has, the articles about plants on her website. Someone lands on one of those, and in that article, she has the sign up for the free guide, for the landscaping guide. So someone's going to enter their email for that guide, and she's going to send them an email back, hopefully automated, that includes the guide, so they can download it, print it, whatever. That guide is obviously going to have some little sales cues in it as well. She's going to, tout why Penelope's Plant Place is where you want to buy your plants, but also be informational and educational. So people get that first automated email. And then in that example, I would put them into an email sequence. So maybe they're going to get an email from me once a week or a couple times a week with more helpful content. So I'm going to write a little intro, maybe to other plant guides on the website, and link back to that so that they're coming back. And then your e-newsletter software should tell you who has opened and clicked through those emails. So you can kind of get a picture of like how active different people are in your list. And then I'm just going to kind of like continue a drip campaign with them through email. And then if you wanted to add a second layer on, maybe through retargeting ads on Facebook or Instagram or whatever platform you think those people are on.
Got it. Yeah, that's interesting. And at what point would you enter conversion where you're actually offering them giving them an offer or offering a discount or whatever?
Yeah, so to do that in a simple way, I would, try to have some idea of how long you think that person, and as you operate, you'll start to get better information on how long it takes for someone to, hit your website the first time and then become a customer. It's going to be different for every business. So you might say like, okay, well, I'm going to send an offer to everyone who has clicked through on one of my newsletters at least 3 times. Then I'm going to send them an offer or something like that. Or, a simpler way to do that might just be once they've been in the email sequence for 4 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever you think it should be, I'm going to send them an offer or a discount or something like that to try to nudge them to convert. And of course, that strategy is going to be really different. Like if you're a service-based company, maybe you're going to offer to, do an initial consultation or something like that. So the tactics can be different, can vary based on the different types of businesses.
Right. So I imagine Penelope would rather be outside planting plants than doing a lot of sit-down computer work. How much effort is really required to maintain these connections with their customers, I guess?
I would say it can take a lot of upfront work. If you think about it, you can build out systems to automate a lot of this, mostly using your e-newsletter software and setting up, automated campaigns on Facebook and things like that. And then it also depends, how direct sales oriented versus like in Penelope's case, she could probably automate things a lot more. In Tim's case, he could automate certain aspects, but it would really rely on him being present and available for his type of audience. But you can build in little automations so that, the emails are automatically triggered and you don't have to tend to every single email that's going to go out. So on the front end, it's all about kind of creating your library of content, coming up with the content that's going to be on your website to attract the audience, and then coming up with the email content that's going to go out. So I'd say if you have everything set up on the front end, you can be pretty successful at automating a lot of things. But it's really kind of an upfront workload that once you have it set up, you can kind of let it run and then make modifications based on how it's performing.
Got it. I love the examples of Penelope and the energy consultant. Very good. That's how I learn the best, is through examples like that. We have a question from Deanna. Is it a good practice to offer customers a way to receive an invoice for services instead of offering an on-site payment option?
Yeah, it just depends on your customer. There's lots of different ways to provide online invoicing these days, QuickBooks and Wave, and lots of different options where you can let them pay digitally, but still send them an invoice. And I think that just depends on your business, how you operate, and the customer that you're serving and what their preferences would be. So I would make a decision that way.
Got it. Very good. Well, thanks, Jessica. I don't see any more questions. As a reminder, recording this webinar is available within a couple of days on our website at fairfieldcounty.score.org. In fact, I think everybody who registers today will get the link to that recording automatically. So our next webinar is actually this Thursday at noon. It's about social media, the best kept secret of the marketing pie. Again, SCORE offers free individual counseling, so please use the link you see on the screen or visit our website and click Request a Mentor. We are available for sessions via phone, email, or video. Also, please fill out your evaluations that have been sent at the end of the webinar. On behalf of SCORE, I'd like to thank you all for attending today's SCORE live webinar. In closing today, a big thank you to our sponsor, Pitney Bowes, and Jessica and Randy. Thanks, that was great.
Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.
Thanks for having us.